Everyone knows what Smash is, I don't need to explain that. Blazblue though, is way more niche. An anime fighter with every trope you can think of put into a 2D space to perform any cancerous action to tell off your opponent to win. One is a traditional fighting game and the other one is a party platform fighter. Outside of hitting someone whether they're to your left or right, these two games are very different. But to someone who does nothing but sit in their house all day getting an erection whenever I have to fight the Palutena, I started to notice how similar Blazblue Central Fiction and Smash Ultimate are. I played many different fighting games, one of them being Guilty Gear. Both have a roster that shares similar movesets and gimmicks, a very convoluted story, and being the pillar of the anime fighting game genre. So the pretty obvious thing to do is talk about that game instead of Smash. Well, that's the thing. They're damn near identical besides a few mechanical and style differences. It wouldn't be fun comparing two games made from the same DNA. It's like if I talk about how a red and a green apple are so much alike. The speed of a fighting game is genuinely the defining factor of how it's played and viewed. Fast games like Dragon Ball FighterZ and Melee are pretty exciting to watch, especially for casuals. They want to see cool things happening on screen, like combos and comebacks. Its speedy nature allows aggressive plays and tech discoveries, such as Marvel 2 and Melee's Wave Dash. Even Tekken Korean backstep gives the game the illusion of competitive tap dancing. The problem with super aggressive games is that they don't usually reward many different playstyles and support the same game plan. That's not really a design flaw, considering that's how certain games are meant to be played. You either rush down or pressure your opponent until you open them up, or pick characters with ridiculous spacing tools and really big normals. What makes this so impressive is the lack of defense options. You either have to spend a large amount of resource to get out of the pressure situation, or block like a god and find the smallest opening and get yourself out of there, assuming you're not playing the character with the invincible DP. A more slower fighting game can usually make rushdowns and zoners more fair to fight against. Often when playing a neutral heavy game like Street Fighter or Granblue Fantasy Versus, characters like Dhalsim and Fairy are annoying to fight against, but easily beatable once you force them out of their comfort zone and fuck in their faces. But they're not completely helpless, since Drive Rush will help Dhalsim from getting smacked in the face, and ultimate skills give Fairy a DP that will allow her to continue her keep away game. But the thing is, it's a universal system mechanic. Helpful, but not the only ones who can use it. Axel's a zoner with the invincible DP, which is fair considering how easy it is to close the space in those games. How well you play footsies in neutral make a difference between victory and defeat. The problem with these games is that they lack player expression and are fairly not that fun to watch. At least in my opinion, with the exception of Street Fighter because it's Street Fighter. Characters can feel shallow and you often see the same thing when fighting people using the same characters. It's more about knowledge rather than individuality. I mean, everyone has their preferences, and I assume that most people want to do crazy shit and not care about the fundamentals. How else are you gonna show off to your friends that you're good? There's a reason why Smash 4 wasn't remembered fondly. I didn't mind it being on the slower side, but defense in that game was way too strong. Shield barely breaks and rolls were the meta. It was either grab and down throw the game or pick Bayonetta. Luckily, the lines between fast and slow is perfect. Of course, Blazblue is considered a fast-paced game, which it is, but it's not Guilty Gear, Marvel, or even Melee fast. It really comes down to how the characters move on screen and how quickly matches go. Blazblue and Ultimate similarity starts with how it rewards its variety of playstyles. You can rush down, zone, play neutral, defensive, hit and run, guerrilla your way through things. No playstyle is better than another. Although high-level play shows off the full aggressive nature of both games, neutral plays a huge part of it, despite the many ways to skip it. Unless you're Street Fighter, it's understandably boring to watch. But Cloud throwing out a Blade Beam and Jin using his Frost Blade isn't different at all. It's not meant to be a win button, but a way to control spacing and the opponent's approach behavior. The damage is nice though, although not all fireballs and projectiles are meant to be equal. Goddamn Batman. The defense in Blazblue is just perfect. Of course there's blocking, but there's also barrier block, which negates chip damage, crush triggers, and unblockable aerials. There's counter assault, burst, overdrive, supers, the list goes on. There's a lot more options since what Smash has to offer, since it only has shields, parry, and a few out shield options. And blocking hits works very differently compared to traditional fighting games. It's more of a your turn my turn type of system. We're not only talking about the advantages here, but also the disadvantages. Once your shield breaks, you're fucked. Not much you can do but mash. Kind of the same thing when your barrier meter is depleted. You'll enter a dangerous state and take a lot more damage. The rule here is managing your passive mindset. You deserve to be punished if you mishandle your shields and always go on the defense instead of finding ways to close the gap by making use of the many options that are available to you. The main thing that really makes the two games less claustrophobic is the wake up options. Rolling back and forward is a great way to regain space but be predictable and punishing. Normal get up is safe but forces you to stay in the disadvantage, and wake up attack is free but very risky. The fact that options are there and reward the balance of aggression and being passive not only encourage the player to have a wide variety of playstyles, but allow the character to be more expressive with their moveset. The amount of fighting games I have played that have very low defense options and small rewards from it kinda baffles me. It's either using a limited resource that doesn't seem worth using, finding the smallest 1 or 2 openings, or should I play more aggressively, which is boring. So sorry the grappler and rushdown pricks are allowed to do whatever they want no matter what I do. Maybe spamming get up attack would help. Mix-ups and pressure are the core of a strong offense. Why can't the same thing be said for a strong defense? Fucking hate dying to chip damage. With the mechanics out the way, the most interesting thing about the comparison are the characters. With everything I said so far, it affects the flexibility of a character. What will a more passive and precision based fighter like Zelda do if she's pushing her opponent? Go off stage and make sure they can't get back? Or use her knight to limit options and use her strong aerials to confirm her stock? What will a terrifying Izanami do if she decides to not be a relentless monster that she is? Using her drives and many mix-up options while levitating is a good way to disorientate someone if you're not good at banging your head against the buttons when you put someone in the corner for a free win. A character should have an intended way to play that should be in unison with their archetype and the system mechanics. But what gives a character depth beyond the surface is how they utilize in any given situation if their normal game plan isn't working out. I made a list to see what Blazblue character has the most similarities to a Smash character, and results are interesting. Some characters are obvious and other needs a little more explaining. I'm going over every single Blazblue character since there's clearly less, and this is the only time I can never talk about Blazblue in Smash like this, so why not? I mean, this is all for shits and giggles. By the way, the fighting game characters are just plain cheating, so forget them. Ragnar and Mario, pick up and play, jack of all trades, and most importantly, red. They're what you call the Shotos of their game, but not really. They might have a projectile, an uppercut, and pretty good mobility, but they both don't have the best footsies. Ragnar has pretty good reach for his normals, but his low health can easily cost him a round if he continues to turtle. Mario has decent survivability with pretty safe attacks, but his lack of range gives him a hard time against anyone with a destroying hitbox. They have the same kit, so what do you think the answer is? Get it in and butt fucking them. You do all these mix up whether that's a Gauntlet Hades or a neutral air. The reward these characters receive is more than just damage. Ragnar has a lifesteal trait, incentivizing you to stop playing so goddamn slow and start doing cool shit so you can suck the STDs out of the guy's bloodstream. Mario gets free 8% damage and now you are respected, which now changes how they approach and defend against you. In some cases, leads to them making reckless decisions. It's more effective than a guy who thinks they're good at the game because they landed a spike. Oh look, a fireball, used for quick damage. Wrong. It's not just used for spacing, but to start or extend it. After that, Ragnar and Mario can use it to give chase with a dash or continue pressure. Spacing is very important. I know that because I like characters with big buttons. Just knowing a character's reach alone can really snap you awake and get you to say to yourself, ah shit, we have a pussy. Now you gotta find the punish window without falling for the same, look how open I am bait. Marth and Mai Natsume, really emphasizing on why a weapon is more than just a decoration, it's their identity. What do they have in common? It's their tipper mechanic. A reminder on why a projectile and good neutral isn't always what guarantees you victory. It's having big hitboxes and bigger damage that will score you points. I'll just get into space. No, it's more like they'll get in yours. This is not Melee Marth where he can literally get away with anything, but he finally gets a jab that works in consistent sword dances. Mai looked at him and thought he was a girl, and took inspiration. Shield breaks, full body hitboxes, and the color blue. I don't care if she was a guy, I would still hit that. Yeah, this series is really weird. It's pretty obvious the samurai characters with long swords are going to be put next to each other. The perfect mixture of neutral and defense. Want to keep you at mid-range, but also punish brain-dead monkeys who want to charge at you like how their dad beat them when they were 8 years old. A good lesson on being patient. Hakumen is designed to be slow. He needs to charge his Makitamas in order to do any specials or supers. Sephiroth has a lot of startup and end lag on most of his moves. But these two are heavily rewarded when they change up their playstyle. Faster Makitama charges get Hakumen to actually do something, and Sephiroth has a really safe off-stage forward air. Looking at any top level player playing aggressively and calling every character they pick up a rushdown is genuinely dishonest. They're given the ability to chase anyone with the camping strategy, but ultimately will have to go back to playing neutral so they can reset their game plan. A defensive Hakumen is scary, and the offensive Sephiroth is ballsy. You mix their tactics into one, suddenly you feel like 3 different playstyles just open up to you all at once. Losing didn't matter. You obtained a better grasp of your character despite the weaknesses and poor matchups. You see, Rockna and Mario can be mistaken for Shotos, poster boys who you can pick up and play, but their feel is more on the rushdown side than controlling neutral. That feel belongs to Jin and Cloud. They can rush down, defend, control neutral, do big damage, and they're really the jack of all trades. Even though they're good at everything, it also means they're not the best at it. If they have a weakness, it's easily exploitable. Cloud have a one-dimensional recovery, Jin lacks any overhead reward without spending meter, and that's their gimmick, meter. All of Cloud's special are enhanced once his limit meter is filled. He's slightly faster and that helps him land his really powerful attacks, while Jin can spend his meter to freeze his enemies, set up Oki, a better DP, more combo routes, and do high damage without ever using his supers. They're both EX characters. How they spend their limited resources is really up to the player's decision. It might look like Cloud is going for a limit cross slash, but he might actually want to bait you out and go for a climb hazard. It's actually better than you think. Smash players hate meter, even if it opens up more possibilities. To that, I say that if you have a problem with it, chances are that you don't like fighting games. You only like Smash. Higher chances are that you don't like Smash. You only play Melee. Therefore, your opinion is invalid. Seeing Hazama and Sonic being compared is pretty baffling, even for me. Then I realized they really pissed me off. Flying, running all over the place like it's no one's business. They will get in on you from across the stage, knock a tooth out, then back up and do the same thing over again. If you try chasing them, you will have a better chance at chasing your unrealistic dreams. It doesn't matter how they play, they control your actions. Being annoyed is very infuriating, but annoying the other player is the best strategy. Once you start making unnecessary actions just to try to land a hit, that will work in their favor. This isn't real life where if you get angry, the adrenaline temporary buff out your stats. In the game, it makes you play a lot worse. To them, it's not about the victory screen. It's about the mental and spiritual damage they have done. The gorillas don't like working for your damage. Azrael and the Kong got you. The thing with big bodies is that they're basically combo food. Until you get hit once. Now you're their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Azrael and DK have the ability to smack and throw you around. Azrael has these pressure point mechanics where if he knocks these arrows onto you, he can use his special to send you flying up or across the screen. You think he's done, but he's kicking you 4 times in a row. And now you're dead. Donkey Kong is no different. He cargo throws you, send you into the air or against the side of the stage. You're not safe from him. Zoning them out is a good start. That is their weakness, but don't forget they have long ass limbs and the ability to be relentless. It's not about being smart, it's about being rewarded for being the caveman. Everyone hates fighting grapplers. Iron Tiger and Bowser may be easy to hit, but you're also easier to kill. You try attacking them, you're grabbed. Shimmy them, super armor. Having the lead, you must be fucking stupid. What makes grapplers so different from the cats is that they're the exception to the rule. Tigger gets a lot of invincibility, and I mean a lot. Like fuck that backstep, fuck his magnets. Bowser is one of the few characters that can air grab in the game that surprisingly has no one who can air dash. Maybe Luigi, but that's really a stretch. You think I'm just talking about them? Bullet and Incineroar are on the more aggressive side of that archetype. Bullet has the ability to grab you in the area around her body. Its range expands if she's in heat, and she'll be able to do more follow-ups and that means more damage. Incineroar Revenge is almost like that, but not really. He heats up, but any attack will do more damage. He's more on the slower side, in fact he's the slowest character in the game. But that doesn't mean he can't catch you because his game plan revolves around his side B. The grapplers may have stubby normals and are easy to hit, Bullet not so much. But their ability to dominate with presence alone brings fear to any player. Unless you're a zoner, they all get fucked by those. Underdogs, low tiers, are a big vital part of a roster. People like rooting for the small guy because they were once dumb at one point in their lives. Until they actually make something out of themselves and people start getting jealous. The once peasant you were rooting for is now the bad guy. Makoto and Lil Mac do more than just punch. Just kidding, that's all they do. Considering they're boxers, they play around their opponent's mistakes, using their speed and fast swings to deal a lot of damage. Of course, their weakness is their air game. Factually, Lil Mac is straight ass in the air, Makoto not so much. Not her best approach option, but damn that tail is great for baiting dumb players like me. KO Punch is such a stupid mechanic. Play the game normally and will reward you with an instant knockout. I guess every fighter's dream is to punch someone so hard they'll be sent flying to the moon. Carl, Clover, and Rosalina, the puppet characters. Despite how hard they are to play, you get no respect. Being a day 1 new player was both great and socially exhausting. Controlling character 1 is just being the catalyst to controlling the real fighters, the puppets themselves, Nirvana and Luma. They don't focus on damage since they're on the low side. Their goals are reset and control. The puppet placement is going to be determined on how the match is going. Nirvana could be on the other side of the screen and now she's sliding you towards Carl. Luma is on the other side of the stage, now Rose is going to slide you. Getting rid of them as fast as possible should be priority number 1. Although the puppeteers are not completely defenseless, their options are now limited. So they start playing safe, or how the hooligans say it, playing like pussies. Cole is quick and nimble and has decent normals. Rosalina has really long totes. Once their puppets are back online, the sandwiching begins again. Actual death fin options, unlike New who can't do shit without death. While we're still talking about puppets and blow-up dolls, Relius and the Ice Climbers are puppet characters, kinda. They're more like extensions rather than minds you have to control individually. They're always with them. The shit Relius and Ice Climbers can get away with the use of their partners is very dishonest. For Ice Climbers, even if Popo gets hit and Nana doesn't, she can still act and I got away with mashing with them many times. Relius can use Ignis to not only attack and extend his combos, but also to protect him from whiffed attacks. You like spot dodges? Relius got you. Infinite freeze and guaranteed damage or a stock? Go to hell. They look like puppet characters, but it's just a 2-for-1 deal. Celica and Duck Hunt. Why not Banjo? Because he actually fights. Celica in the dark has a few moves they do, but it's mostly their companion that does all the fighting. Celica is a balanced character who is pretty decent at everything and has mix-ups that moves her left to right, and has a super armor DP that recovers her health. Duck Hunt has set plays and uses many projectiles, including an explosive can that comes out at frame 1. What do they have in common? I don't know anymore. I'm just pulling things out of my ass. I can't even play more than 3 characters in Blazblue. This whole thing devolved into characters being the same archetype and having a few similar traits. But I'm gonna keep going because I'm enjoying myself. Taukaka and Sheik, low damage but fast as lightning, jumping all over the place is what they do. They do have to consider how fragile they are though. When playing a speedy character like that, not getting hit is as important as dealing as much damage as fast as possible, since their damage output is on the low side. So mix-ups and stun locking are what they're good at. You know Zero Doppelganger Super in MVC? Tao has that as her overdrive and to this day I still don't know how to defend against it. Although stun locking wasn't as bad as Smash 4, it still requires the player to be fast with their hands to optimize Sheik's combo routes and kill confirm. If you're not, why do you even pick up these high effort characters to begin with? Naruto and Captain Falcon, easy to hit but preys on your mistakes and bum rushes you into the corner. These characters rely on the opponents to whiff so they can use their fast paced precision moves to deal as much damage as possible. It isn't that hard to pull off considering that they ignore neutral, hit hard as a truck, and gaining the advantage is easy considering their weaknesses are pretty negligible. They're both easy to pick up and easy to win with, but execution is a whole different thing. Naruto has strict micro dashes that not only open up new combos for him, but also has the best corner to corner carry in the game. Captain Falcon moves have many sour spots, so landing the sweet one requires accuracy. Boy do they feel good to land. Goes to show that a character might look simple on the surface, but to play them you need more than just B&B and basic fundamentals. Just ask the Mishimas. Part of Smash identity is being random. People like to play competitively, but items can be really fun once in a while. Just don't say this to melee players. But what if the RNG is part of a character's identity? Peach and Platinum look like sisters, but Platinum decides to abandon her royal heritage to be a magical girl. Peach down B, her turn-up, is random. They're normally just projectiles, but if she managed to pull up a Stitch Face turn-up, now she has a kill confirmed. Not to mention she can also get lucky when she pulls out a Mr. Saturn or a bomb up. She's scary, assuming she doesn't waste them. Platinum Drive has random items too. A hammer, a bat, missiles, and a lot of other things I don't understand. Giving her a chance to change up how she will play during the match, which makes fighting her incredibly unpredictable. They both have an annoying ass hover because they have pretty damn good aerials. A useless counter that's meant to catch people who want to hurt you, and a strong ass attack. In my opinion, RNG can ruin your competitive fighting game, but how you implement it can make it exciting. It can be unfair or add a lot of spice, and now I can't see these two other than long lost sisters. Yuki Terumi and Joker, characters designed around meter. How they gain meter is completely opposite from each other. Terumi lands an attack with his drive, which gives him a lot of meter. Joker gets hit or uses his rebel guard so he can call out or send. Once their meter is filled, they get going. Being on the timer also forces them to act fast. Terumi can die quickly due to his low health and he gets outranged by the cast. Thank God his pressure game is really good. Once he's spent all his meter, he's going to get it back real quick. Same for Joker, fast and nimble, and also has decent mid-range options. Snowballing is what they do best, so once they start losing, it's really hard for them to get back up. Oh yeah, they also have knives with really good anti-airs. Not everyone needs to be designed fair. Some of them are just there to rob you. Susanoo and Ganondorf are just thugs. Big bodies, sluggish, and have a restrictive moveset that makes these characters bad. That's why it takes no effort to play them because the amount of damage they do to you is insane. When playing these two, you gotta figure out what move is available or the most optimal. Susanoo's specials are locked and you gotta use his drive to unlock them. Focus on his slide, spin, and sword since those are his best ones. Ganondorf's up tilt and Warlock punch are damn near worthless. Everything else is slow, but boy do they pack a punch. They're slow and take long to play, but once they build up momentum, they turn into unfair tyrants you'll hate fighting. Winning isn't about hard work, it's about making the most progress with the least amount of effort. Unless you're fighting a zoner. Good luck. You expect all ninjas to be quick and stealthy yet made of paper. Chip Zenov is put into a game with a night full of apes with cannons. But we're not talking about Guilty Gear, we're talking about Hibiki and Greninja. Nothing says ninja but the color blue. Kind of a true fact. You expect these two to be of the rushdown playstyle, but that's not how they work. They're fast and can do that, but they rely more on patience and mix-ups. Thanks to their shadow attacks, they can catch their opponents by surprise and really start doing anything from there. Where they really want to play is in the air. Greninja has really strong aerials, which thanks to him being the second highest jumper in the game. When Hibiki is done playing Attack on Titan, the Azuna drop is how you should always end your combos. No exceptions. Do you prefer to live in a world with science or magic? Your answer doesn't matter because your life will still suck. Kokonoe and Robin. If you hate traps and being continuously hit, these characters are nightmares to fight. Robin's Arcfire and Kokonoe's Gravity Pull are tools to keep their opponent under control. Once you're caught in it, they get to do whatever they want. Forward air, forward smash, you know the basic. Summoning the Golden Iron Taker and doing 10k damage, typical Kokonoe things. Although their tools are strong, they have to be wary of their limited item uses and dealing low damage if they can't set them up. Many people hate fighting projectiles and cheap tools. So the fact that it's limited make it fair to fight and fun to manage. Sometimes a character is slightly more fun to play when you have to be wary of how you use their moveset. 9. The Phantom and Hero. Both can control magic, good range, and have an arsenal of spells. Really, this comparison is more about good design versus bad design. 9 normals consists of water, wind, and fire spells. Whatever element she uses or how many she uses, she can mix them up to create new spells. Whether that be a reflective mirror, an annoying fairy, or even put a doomsday timer on you. It's vital to learn what she can mix up and remember what combos to pull off so you can activate your desired spell. With Hero, he has an MP bar. Okay, he can't spam all like that, he needs to be considerate with how he uses his spell. The reason Hero is a very hated character is because of his RNG. He can land random crits, his down B is unpredictable, even to the player. He can instant kill, get a really powerful spell, or a useless one, or straight up kill himself. Top decking is a very stupid and effective strategy at times. 9 is a consistent character, Hero isn't. And I wish he could play like her, where all his attacks will add an element to a pot and he uses his down B to select the list of spells he could conjure. I actually love Hero and his random nature is parallel to the spirit of Smash, but holy shit is it stupid to fight against. A man can dream of following those big ass tits. Yo, it's Tom and Jerry with these two because how hard it is to hit them. Jubei and Pikachu are small characters that are annoying to fight. Whiff punishing is what they do best. Once they're done trapping you in their 30 hit combo, they can use their projectile to put you in an Oki situation and most likely cross you up because they can get away with that for free. Don't even think about catching them if Pikachu decides to use his Thunder Jolt and Jubei uses his Drive because you can't hit them out of it and they can change whatever direction they want. You would think if that's the case, low damage. Although they have to work for it, it's not hard for Pikachu to set up Thunder and get a possible early kill with it. And Jubei has a lot of option for his mix-up game. Just be glad the defensive game is really weak. Tsubaki and Inkling. Okay, it's meter. It's always meter. But the thing with these two is that they need to charge if they want to get the most out of their kit. Both of them are short range fighters, but when they spend their meter, they start to become really relentless. Inkling now has projectiles and a paint roller that will bury you in the ground. The ink isn't just for show, it's their passive. If applied, you're going to take more damage if you get hit by them. Tsubaki can just do more in general, like extend combos and really just do anything. It's not an EX thing, it's more like low chores for a big reward. Now Tsubaki's other form, the Izayoi, is directly aligned with Pyra and Mithra. Change your forms for a different moveset and strategy. Mithra does the damage while Pyra kills. Izayoi base is more grounded while her drive form is more about aerials and mix-ups. People hate fighting these type of characters. Different movesets and mobility options means a change of pace. When you're fighting someone like Luigi, you only need to worry about his death grabs and misfire. When fighting Pokemon Trainer, you now have to worry about 3 characters. You can flex and say you can win in only one form, but these type of characters are designed in a way to complement each other and cover their other weaknesses while still providing variety to the player. There's a reason why Zelda and Sheik, when they were together, were horribly designed. The idea was there, but the balance and execution was terrible. Hence why they become their own characters eventually. Everyone hates fighting zoners, even zoners hate fighting other zoners. But holy fuck, are Amane and Midman are just menaces. Besides their absurdly long range, they have way too many close range options. But what makes them so oppressive is their block pressure. In Smash, shields can break and leave you very vulnerable. Like, we know this. But in other fighting games, although there's a guard crush mechanic, you're not entirely defenseless. In Blazblue case, you have barrier. Use it. Amane drills shaves off your HP with chip damage. Then after using up all your barrier bar, you now have to play offensively, because now you're going to take double the damage. It is annoying to fight these two. They're the necessary evil to remind the player to use the in-game mechanics, and playing passively isn't always going to give you the win. Guns. With something so scary and dangerous that can end your life from miles away, why do fighting game characters always use them up close? Noelle and Bayonetta will straight up dance around everything you do. These two are great for skill checking their opponents, sliding around and dodging damn near everything until they get close enough to do a devastating combo. But what's so bad about characters like these is that the players start to build bad habits. If you're constantly spamming Bayo's side B or Noelle's drive attack, yeah, it works at first until it's figured out. Like, hey, you miss out on like a third of your kit and you're mashing buttons thinking you're doing something. Eventually, it's going to be hard to unlearn those things. Rachel, Alucard, and the Belmonts. I want to say it's ironic that I paired the vampire with the vampire slayers, but knowing the series, they would get along. Controlling what's on screen is a huge advantage. With Rachel and the Belmonts, they will straight up spam every projectile they have to make sure they're in control. Axes, cross, holy water, lightning rods, a frog. The Belmont's zoning capabilities are so goddamn good. I swear, Smash became who has the longest reach. Rachel normals aren't really long because she controls the wind and moves everything on screen, including the opponent, so spacing isn't an issue for her. That goddamn frog, man. George, I think it's his name? I hate him so damn much. Valkenheim and Meta Knight, characters who excel in the air, speed and multi-hit attacks. It's all about dragging people. Valkenheim can enter his wolf form and start doing all these crazy strings. You'll be lifted up only to be brought back down. Meta Knight's the same thing, just, you know, spamming up airs and finishing with the up B will do the job. I miss Brawl Meta Knight so much. Pairing anyone with Lychee was hard as hell since her fighting style is so unique. She fights with her staff, but she can like ice it down and it just has a mind of its own. She can get on it, kick your ass with kung fu. I guess she's like a character who can change her stance. There's no one in the Smash cast I can pick that even remotely plays like her. I'm going to have to stretch it. I think it's Shulk, because his Munado arts changes how he can play. With boons and banes for each art just like Lychee. She gets rid of her staff, her range is gone. If she doesn't throw out her staff, then like how the hell are you going to apply pressure and get in? I guess it goes to show that every fighting game should have a character so unique that they can't be replicated in another game. Giant swords. Everyone loves them. That's why if Kagura and Ike were to fight each other, the continent would be just set on fire. Slow and not that great at close range, but has amazing button. It's not just reach, it's the power. The audio adds tons of weight to the fighting style. Wide attacks, a option to get in, counter, DP, engulfed in their swords and flames. It's not about rushing down or playing neutral. Hell, it's not even about baiting the other player. It's about throwing out what works. You don't need to learn from your mistakes. You just keep making them until it becomes the correct answer. Okay, this is the oddest pair up in this list. S and Olimar. How? Well, yes, because they're both short and can low profile most attacks. It's mostly because they won't stop attacking. They both have pretty good reach. S can cross you up and has a sweep that's damn near reach half of the screen. Olimar Pikmin is dependent on the color. White goes the furthest while purple is the shortest while being the strongest. They also dictate his grab range. Their pressure game is their defining trait. If a Pikmin gets on you, you have to take the time to get it off. The damage really adds up. While S has a drive attack that traces the sword swings for additional attack. They don't do the most consistent damage since you have to build up to it with the Pikmin and star management, but most of the time, it's not about how well you can do it in the shortest amount of time, it's about how well you can overcome their weaknesses and play to your character's strength. Another weird one is Izanami and Ness. They're very unalike, so why did I pair them? Oh, it's because they're fucking insane. They work for their damage, but it's not hard to earn considering how devastating their kits are. Izanami has mix-ups, time stops, and she can carry from one corner to another. But the most terrifying thing about her is those goddamn rib cages. She cannot be directly hit as long as she has those things up. Ness, well... feeling helpless sucks. So that's why I play these characters, to make other people feel that way. Hey, fighting games are at its best if you're the one winning. Archetype and Steve. Straight cancer. Steve is already weird as hell. He barely has any animation, so that makes his attacks hard to read. Set up blocks to prevent recoveries and approaches. Can drag you off the stage and dunk you. An annoying ass minecart in a game where you have to play Mario Party to mash out grabs and shit. He is the most disastrous Smash character ever made. Yes, even worse than Smash 4 Bayo and Brawl Meta Knight. At least you can understand what they're doing when you fight them. Steve is unreadable, and he has the most decked out kit. He is from Minecraft, the game of unlimited possibilities, and he decides to carry that philosophy over. But he is nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to the cancerous character in fighting game history, Arakune. I don't even know what he even do. He has teleportation, invincibility, bugs, his goddamn curse mechanic. If he filled that bar up, it's over. You better be good at blocking, because this matchup is a nightmare to learn. If you're going to introduce someone to Blazblue, do not show them clips of this blob. It will push people away. Unless they hate humanity themselves. Smash isn't an anime fighter, but it's damn close when they have characters that are hard to understand, which is what makes it so interesting. Just like Bang and Sora, a shirtless ninja and a fruity ass kid. You know the basics already, have utility and great air options. But you see, this time, I don't want to worry about their gameplay similarities due to them having very little of it. It's more like how they differ from their stereotypes. Ninja should be fast and unpredictable, which Bang clearly is, but he's very limited what he can do in a round due to him only having very few nails to use. Use it as a projectile or set up for a speed burst. He has a drive attack that lets him hit very hard and grant him super armor. You don't hear ninjas tanking before. Not even Ryu Hayabusa can take a hit. Sora is the wielder of the Keyblade, so you expect him to play like the other sword users that are around his height. Space and throwing out a weak attack into a strong one. But nah, he goes in pretty hard. Using his special to start combo, do a bunch of shit, and end it with the aerial finisher. In a weird way, it's like he's roaming canceling for free. Weird ass stretch since he's not the only one who can attack out of a special, but who gets many real air strings in this game. You know, I think Bang and Sora would make great friends. I mean, many of the pairings I did would probably want to kill each other if they met. This has to be the funniest coincidence I have found. All we have left is the Morokumo units, and they're mostly the same, and I'm not going to explain the lore here on the fact that they're the same person. Mew and Lambda are clones like Ryu and Ken. Mew has the same concept but shoots orbs instead of swords. The closest Smash character I can conveniently find to match these girls are the Links. It's so convenient because these Links, although not the same Links, are still Links, the definition of zoners. Everyone hates fighting all these characters, which is understandable, because why not come up close to me and fight face to face? The thing is, if you have a problem with the characters spamming projectiles, I don't think that's the game's fault. It's your lack of patience. I get if a game is designed horribly due to lack of options or bad balance, then sure, fuck it. But with how Blazblue is designed and how mostly balanced Smash is, they're manageable to beat. God forbids playing the character the way they're intended. So new and young Link have far range attacks they can use to get close to mix up their attacks, or never get in at all. Lambda and 2 Links are also the same, but their projectiles are a little more short range, but close up attacks pack more punch. Mew and Links are kind of the same, but more work. They're set play characters. They have to set up and play around their tools. Mew set down arrows for her lasers, and Link uses his bomb to control part of the stage and uses them in combos. The best way to win is to never get hit. So if you're being insulted for having a certain playstyle, you're doing something right. Yeah, that's all the Blazblue characters. Comparing the best fighting game ever made, suck it if you disagree, with the biggest crossover game in history was way more fun than I originally thought. I am self-aware that I detracted from all the intricate and technical talk, but I feel like you already get the point and don't want to hear how two characters are similar without the repetitive stuff. It's more than just two characters being of the same archetype or sharing a trait or three. It's also the system mechanics that can give a character freedom while still playing by the rules. You can probably compare Smash to any other fighting game, but I chose Blazblue because it's what I know best. I just want an excuse to talk about that game more. Now I kinda want Smash characters to have more depth and intricacies. I mean, they clearly already have something there, just give everyone an overhaul. But that would be way too much to ask considering there's like over 80 characters and it's still a party game at the end of the day. Whether you play competitively or casually doesn't matter because it's all about having fun. Because that's why Smash was made in the first place. Too bad I'll never make a dedicated video on this series since my next video would be my Blazblue magnum opus. Well, that's it. Till next time or something.